Hi, this is Beth Graham. Welcome to this yoga short stretch for your hips. We'll start off with a 90 leg setup, 90 degrees. Front shin parallel to the top of the mat, 90-degree angle between the front leg and back thigh, and then 90-degree bend with your back leg. You might want yoga blocks for this. Start to fold forward over your front thigh. This is where you might want a block to support your head. So, depends on our hips. You might want to feel a little bit more movement of the torso over the thigh, or you might get enough of a stretch just coming slightly forward. In this position, like half pigeon, it's more about the undoing, the releasing and letting go of this external rotation of the front thigh bone in the hip. The hips are a ball and socket joint, 360 degrees, so this 90-90 stretch that we'll be doing will work through that rotation. So just let yourself be quiet here, let the shoulders get heavy, soften through the throat, and focus on your breath. You'll make your way back up. And then start to press the left glute down to the floor. It's okay if the right knee lifts up, and you can actually even hunch in this position. You don't typically hear me say that, but we just want to feel the rotation of the left glute moving to the floor. Then feel the internal rotation as you lean forward of the back leg. Use your hand to help. And lift the foot off the floor. So you feel the thigh bone internally rotate and the ankle, foot, and shin lift off the floor. Give it a little help. And then bring your hands behind your back and windshield your legs back and forth. Just doing this is a great warm-up for the hips, or good to do after a run or bike ride. Bring the left shin now parallel with a short edge of the mat, right shin parallel with the long edge of the mat, and then again 90 degrees between your two legs. Fold the torso forward over the left thigh. And again, you might need to make some adjustments of where the torso lands to feel a different sensation or opening in the hip. So give yourself some time to move around and be able to feel where is your sweet spot. And then focus on your breath. Notice when you calm your breath how you can feel that unpeeling of the layers of tension. Almost that unraveling of the body as the torso gets heavier. Maintain extension of the spine so we can feel the left hip. Another few breaths here. Make them long and deep, rich and full. Slowly make your way up. And then press the back of the right hip, the right glute to the floor. Again, hunching is okay. Left knee lifting is okay. Just see if you can get the right glute, right hip to the floor. And then start to work the internal rotation of the back thigh bone and hip. So start to rotate in and you'll lift the back shin, ankle, and foot off the floor. And you can use your hand. Not that it does that much of the movement, but it builds the awareness of how the thigh bone internally rotates in the pelvis. And then hands behind your back. And again, wiper your legs side to side. This just feels good. And then when the knees move back to the right, you'll take it back to a high plank pose. Crease of the elbows forward, core engaged, then hips lift, down dog. Spread the fingers wide and reach the right leg straight back. Heel is in line with the hip. Bend the knee, draw in, and you'll step forward to a high crescent lunge. In this lunge, bend your back knee so you can rotate through the pelvic bowl and pull your hip points up and feel the lower belly engage. Hands can come behind the head to open the chest or arms extended. Once you've got this rotation of the pelvic bowl, then you can extend the back leg. Open to your warrior two, focusing on the opening of your front leg, your right hip. So press down through the right heel, the big toe mound, and when you ground the pinky toe mound, you can feel the right knee moving to the wall behind you. Bring the hands down to the floor, take it back to a high plank, and then lift your hips, down dog. Press your hands away, and then reach the left leg straight back. One long line. Draw the knee into your nose, step forward into your high crescent lunge. Again, we'll bend the back knee, the right knee, and lift the right heel up. Rotate through the pelvic bowl. Stay firm in your core. Then you can extend the heel. Feel the opening on the front of the right hip. Pivot and open to your warrior two, front heel to back arch. Focus on the opening of the left hip. So press through the left heel, then the big toe mound, then the pinky toe mound. When you do that, feel the left knee move back. Lengthen your tailbone down. Hands down to the mat. You'll step your back leg forward and bring your hands to your shins. And then step your feet out wide on the mat and hold your opposite elbow. So your hips are stacked over your knees and your knees over your ankles. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can always bring your hands down to the mat for an added support. And then come into a yogi squat. So bring your heels in, your toes are out. Elbows between your knees. So lengthen the tailbone. And then use your elbows to press the knees out. Make your way onto your back. So just come onto your seat and onto your back. And we're coming into happy baby pose, which is essentially a yogi squat on your back. So let's use the prop as a floor to understand this position better. Pull the knees down to the floor and press your low back to the mat. So notice, if your hips and your low back lift up, bring the hands behind the thighs so you can get a little bit more space. Otherwise, hold the feet and press the low back down. Pull your knees into your chest. Rock up to a seat. And we'll stand to face the long edge of the mat. And fold. Give yourself a moment here. Grab a block. Bring the block to where your seat will land for your next yogi squat. Bring your heels in, toes out. And then, like an elevator, descending floors, lower down to the block. Bring your hands into your heart. Elbows press, knees back. If you don't need the block, move it off to the side. And let the hips sit heavier down towards the heels. And then keep pressing the knees back. Feel the opening in the hips. Hands down to the floor, straighten the legs. And then come down to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands into your heart center. Thanks for practicing. Until next time, namaste.